Holla, holla, holla. My hair blocking you, player.
I was going to say, did you get blocked?
No, I did not get blocked. We'll touch on that a little later on. But welcome into episode 105 of the Dumb Marks Podcast, your favorite Saturday brunch bunch. Back at it again. That's right, Saturday.
Go on, Nate.
What's going on?
Your boys are back at it. What are you drinking, Chris? What is that? Is that a little apple cider?
It is a little apple cider.
Oh. You drink apple cider cold?
Absolutely.
No, you gotta do apple cider warm.
I mean, there's no. It's definitely good warm, but
I mean, you look like you just came off the pumpkin patch. So I mean, is that where you at this morning?
It's October 1st. It is for me. It is officially fall.
I can tell by your outboard sweater you got on. That's the way to go. How we doing? We good? Everybody all right?
Mm-hmm.
Got through another week. Blessed to be here as usual. We got a lot to get into, shits and giggles wise, so we'll pick all that up as we work through the segments of the show. But I guess where I wanted to start off with, there's some things that just print money, right? Like just print money. Okay.
Wait. That's not a fat joke.
Could be a fat joke. But yeah, no, it is chubby guy season. We're starting getting the cold weather. You know, you want some extra warmth, something to snuggle up to. Chubby guys are in. So add that to your Bumble profile, Chris. It's chubby guy season.
We got to discuss that too. So
yeah. But yeah, so what I was getting at, some things just print money, right? Avatar. So if you weren't around back in 2009, or you weren't out in the streets, as they like to say, the movie that was Avatar, whenever it was released, was the highest grossing movie of all time, right?
Up until
right up there,
Infinity
top
War,
2 or 3.
was it?
Yeah, it was like every 10 years. Titanic, then Avatar, then Infinity, then Endgame.
Endgame, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you adjust for inflation and everything else,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
I think Gone with the Wind is still number one if you adjust for inflation or something like that.
That's 3 hours of just we're not going to go there. They tried to cancel that movie.
Yeah,
well, that's another topic for another day. But so Avatar 2 is coming out. The sequel, which has been in the making since 2009, people were clamoring for it. Well, last weekend they re-released Avatar in theaters, 4K, upgraded it, everything else. Son of a bitch brought in over $30 million last weekend.
Jeez,
still prints money. Like, I was skeptical on what the sequel was going to do, but after the original does $30 million on a re-release just in one weekend,
especially whenever it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that movie's going to be bananas. Like, I want to see it in theaters because, the 4K. Okay. Nate, there's your homework, Nate. Go see
Never
Avatar.
got my money either, Nate.
This was a movie that I did not want to see. I thought whenever the trailer came out that it looked awful. I was like, I'm not going to see it. And people that I trust their opinion on movies, they were like, no, you got to go see this movie. And I went and saw it, and I actually enjoyed it.
I waited till it came out.
Myself.
I waited till it came out and rented it, and I'm indifferent. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. So,
wow,
you got blue people. I'm not.
So you got
blue. It got blue people, but you watch Marvel.
You got one blue guy.
Started off Saturday with racism.
Yeah, this guy. He's wearing a black and white shirt. Like, come on, this guy. But yeah, I saw that and I'm like, Jesus, like I wonder what they're projecting the sequel to actually do, because for that to pull in 30 million,
dude, it's
pretty damn impressive.
Disney doesn't buy stuff and expect to lose money on it.
Well, speaking of Disney buying stuff and making money on it, if you live under a rock or just don't pay attention to this type of stuff, it was announced this week via Ryan Reynolds on his personal Twitter account that Hugh Jackman will be playing and reprising his role as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. And as you can tell from the title of the show, yeah, sure, Ryan. it damn near broke the internet whenever it dropped on, I believe, Wednesday night, Wednesday night, because they followed up with another one Thursday.
Yeah.
And that's all everybody was talking about. Like, I can't wait.
I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Because the two's going to play off each other so well.
Oh, yeah.
The shit they do as real life friends to each other is hilarious. Like, and now you're going to give them free reign to go on and make a movie and add that banter back and forth. Like, they got to be like kids in a candy store, super excited to make this movie. Like,
love the Deadpool movies. Just think that he's the same character and everything. Because that's one thing that I always hear about Ryan Reynolds.
No,
he plays the same character in every movie.
That's not true.
I don't think so.
I don't.
No.
He got depth.
It's comedy, but
he got depth. I mean, he's not, he's not as rangy as Denzel, but I mean, he got depth. He can hit different roles.
Yeah, he can.
But yeah, now I need Hugh to wear the yellow costume. I need it to be the animated cartoon Wolverine. In some sort of capacity.
Something tells me, I was gonna say, something tells me you'll see at least a scene.
They're gonna do it right.
Because that's what they do. That's what that movie does. Like, they like to play off of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. He'll probably go to the closet, put it on real quick. Like, what you think of this? Nah. Then go back in and get something more modern.
Get the jean jacket out again, or the leather jacket, whatever he wore next.
Yeah, the leather jacket. Now, before they made the announcement, I saw rumors. It was either this week or last week about him coming back and playing Wolverine in Secret Wars. So I don't know if we're going to see him prior to Deadpool coming out, or if he'll be introduced in Deadpool and then be in a couple other movies afterwards. Have no idea what that will mean for him or the X-Men as a whole, because we're supposed to start getting them sprinkled in here coming up in the MCU. But it'll be interesting to see how they bring everybody in, how it plays off, and where it goes. But this pairing is tremendous. Like,
yes, it is.
Deadpool 1 and 2 are great. They're hilarious. They're some of my favorite Marvel movies, even though they're not technically Marvel, but now they are Marvel. Yeah. So this is just icing on a cake for a third one that I was already looking for.
That's exactly how they ended it too.
Yeah. And they did touch on the fact that even though Wolverine dies in Logan, they're not touching on that at all. This is
that's in
completely
the future.
Separate. That's set in the future. So a little bit of story and plot line there for you. Because I saw a lot of people, I saw a lot of diehards up in arms about that too. Like, how can you bring him back? He died in Logan. It's like, come on now.
Here we go.
We're in the multiverse.
Here we go.
Can't please everybody.
There we
Time
go.
travel.
Donald's favorite thing, time travel.
Yep.
Speaking of which, time travel is real. I don't know if you saw the article or not that came out this week. Did you see scientists? They were able to send a particle back in time.
Were they watching Quantum Leap?
No, they weren't watching Quantum Leap, but that show got a reboot, and I may tune in for it because the original Quantum Leap was great.
You're a couple episodes behind already.
Yeah, I know.
I think you might be the one man on here that do that tunes in.
I'm not watching that.
No. Did you
I
watch
barely
the original?
I watched the original.
Yeah.
I watched the original, yeah. Mm-hmm. I barely watch wrestling. There's no way I'm starring Quantum Leap.
But yeah, so time travel is officially a thing now, Donald. Like, you can't be mad whenever they add it in. So
I need to see
the MCU.
I need to see these scientists. I need to see this process with my own two eyes to believe. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing.
Is this going to be like whenever they cloned the sheep and, that was like all the news, and then 30 years later we haven't heard a damn thing about cloning a sheep since?
Hey, the fact that they sent a particle back in time, and then also there was a fully intact dinosaur embryo from like 27 million years ago found. We're headed towards Jurassic Park, so strap your boots in because it's
supposed to have flying cars by now.
It's about to get real weird out here.
I hope it's real so I can send myself back to May 2006 and stop myself from doing something that's causing my problems today.
Watching Marvel.
And we'll just leave it, and we'll just leave it as that.
Was that the first time you entered a pen pal letter from the brain?
I think next episode of Dumb Marks After Dark, we might have to dive into what happened in 2006.
Put him in the COVID clutch, and his back ain't been right since.
All right. Anybody got anything else intro wise they want to get into? I didn't catch anything gaming wise or anything.
Dave, you okay?
Dave, listen. If we're gonna have a Dr. Phil session, we'll break out the couch and sit down and talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're here.
Yeah, we'll bring the ball on.
Mm-hmm. All right. I got no shame in my game. I went to therapy on Thursday night. Felt great. It was I'm there once a month as needed. So if you need to vent, let's go. I'm here for it. Mental health is wealth, as they say. So, but with that, anything else gaming wise? I didn't pay attention to nothing gaming news this week. I don't know if anything happened or not.
Google Stadia shutting down.
Yeah. So what I saw you said. So what is that?
You and everybody else in the world. That's their online platform. So it's like where you can play a video game online, but then so you have the Google Chromecast at home. You play it on there, and then you just have a Bluetooth controller synced up to it. So it's what Netflix is trying to get into with their streaming games. So they've been there for a couple years now.
Yeah, I mean, you're not cracking those top three, so don't even try to get into the market. Yeah. And that's what happened.
Well, they got into the market. They got into the market, but never marketed that they're in the market because I've never heard of this until now when they're shutting it down.
It wasn't nothing to clamor about.
Heard of it,
that's
but
why. Yeah. It was nothing to clamor about.
I honestly don't know what games they had or anything like that. If it was even worth it at all. I think they had Assassin's Creed. I think that was their big one whenever it launched.
But everybody had Assassin's Creed, so.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So, did you like it? Was that was the one thing I wondered. How is the streaming of the game? Is it pretty legit?
No, it probably lags like you're on AOL dial-up from back in the 90s.
What's going on, Kenny? How you doing today?
So they had Destiny.
Okay.
I don't trust anything other than the game system.
Very true.
I'm Amazon. I'm not logging on to play that stuff. They got
Amazon has the same thing. So
I'm not logging on. I don't trust it.
What does Amazon call theirs? Aria?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And then, Netflix announced 2 years ago they were getting in the game, and they're just slowly getting into it.
Yeah, you haven't heard anything. You haven't heard anything more about that.
They've launched some games to play on Netflix, but it's very limited and
hard to tap that out there. Yeah. Hard to tap that market, especially with
Luna,
especially with Game Pass, going around. Hard to tap that market.
Yeah.
Pause. That's what she said. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, hey, rest in peace to Stadia. Had a hell of a run. You're gone before anybody missed you. So
hell of a run. You've never heard of it. A hell of a run.
Get that God of War coming out November 9th.
Yeah.
They brought up 6 seasons of a movie. If you're a Community fan, they officially announced there's going to be a made-for-TV movie on Peacock. No release date yet, but
everybody coming back.
I think Joel McHale is going to be a producer. I think I saw, so he's guaranteed to come back, but they haven't really said anybody else. So hopefully everybody comes back for it.
I don't want to deep dive too long into this, but since we are officially in the month of October, Black Adam comes out October 21st. Does this movie have to succeed in order to save DC?
100%.
No.
This is their make or break point, right? If this is the shits, then nobody should ever go see a DC movie again.
No, because I feel like Marvel's at a down. It's falling off.
I'm with Jason.
But is DC really there to
movie wise? Marvel's falling off, or series wise?
Movie wise.
What was the last Marvel movie to come out? Thor.
Thor.
Thor?
I just watched that.
Like
I didn't watch that yet.
No, I did not like Thor at all.
Oh, see, I was the opposite. I loved it.
But I think Thor's always one of those movies that some people like, some people don't like. You know, like I'm even talking from the first movie. Like a lot of people didn't like that. I've been a Thor fan, so I'm expecting to like this, but I don't know. I didn't love Ragnarok though.
Me neither.
So Kenny said for sure because they made it a big deal at San Diego Comic-Con. Nate said, what about the Batman? So the Batman for me, I enjoyed the Batman. I did, even though it was super long. I enjoyed it.
That.
I was not a fan at all.
It's one that I will go back and rewatch. So the fact that I'm going back to rewatch a DC movie says a lot about it. But there, like Kenny said, the hype for this Black Adam movie has been 2 years in the making. I mean, you have a hell of a cast assembled for it. The press run has been great. It's The Rock, so
he makes money too.
He brings he's something that always prints money, right? All his movies aren't good, but the man prints money, right?
The Rock isn't a selling point for me. Like you tell me The Rock's in it, I'm like, okay, that's a plus, but it's not the reason I'm going to see the movie.
Yeah, and
because it's The Rock.
For me, I'm wondering with this movie, is it going to catch the casual fan? I know The Rock is in it, but Black Adam's not a out there character like Superman or Batman. Is it going to pull those people in? Just because you got DC on it, don't mean it's going to pull people in.
I think because it's The Rock, it's going to get some casual fans.
That's where I was going to go. Because The Rock will bring in casual people.
Yeah.
Like,
people that don't necessarily want to go see a DC movie, they're just going to go see it because, it's The Rock.
The Rock is always playing The Rock.
He's another one.
Yeah, The Rock.
But did you see the newest trailer that they put out? It gave more insight into the movie itself.
I didn't watch it because at this point, honestly, I'm gonna go see it. So
I'm more interested in the other characters they're introducing into film, like Hawkman and Dr. Fate.
Right. I'm interested in seeing how this fits in because technically it should fit in with the Shazam universe, right? But
yes,
Shazam was such an Ant-Man style movie for DC, where it was very comedic. It wasn't complete. It had its serious parts.
It was Thor.
Not with Thor. I guess the second Thor would, or maybe
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
I mean, that was.
Yeah, not even the second one. Yeah, probably Ragnarok. Yeah.
Even even this last one, Love and Thunder, was the same style as Ragnarok with the comedy in that. Like,
so so I'm interested in seeing if with Shazam and Black Adam, are they going to tie anything together, or are they going to be more just both standalones right now and then maybe come together at some point? But I like Shazam. Shazam's actually one of the few DC movies I actually liked.
And I mean, with DC pausing their stuff and pulling stuff, I mean, after Black Adam, we have what that we know of Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2, right? Like, what else do we have that DC is announced that they're going to put out there?
Dude, the past couple movies have been serious. I mean, outside of probably Thor, but Doctor Strange.
Nah, there was like certain things that took me out of Doctor Strange.
Well, if you're not into the mythical monster creature realm stuff, that's gonna pull you out.
But all that stuff with Wanda was dark.
Yeah, Wanda was serious.
Oh, she killed it.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was serious.
Yeah, that was a series.
Loki, I mean, I guess if you're going based on movies, like besides Infinity War and Endgame, which wrapped up 10 years of movies, like 10 years of storytelling, I guess you got to reset. I think you're gonna get back to Marvel being serious again because Wakanda 2 comes out next month, November, and that to me is gonna kick off.
I can't imagine anything funny in that movie.
Yeah. and that I'm so pumped for that. Like, I can't wait for that to come out. So,
Anybody know the release date on that one?
that's November. I want to say it's towards the end of November, maybe.
So Thanksgiving C.
Yeah, which would be smart if they do it around that time because more money. So yeah, but yeah, I think Black Adam has to be a success.
Looking forward to that. Definitely not serious, but looking forward to the season 2 of Peacemaker.
Yeah,
that surprised me that I enjoyed that.
I love Peacemaker.
Yeah, that
was so well done. John Cena is absolutely that character through and through.
Such a fitting role for him too.
Yeah. This is what my hesitation is with Black Adam with The Rock. Like, The Rock is The Rock, which we all acknowledge that. Black Panther 2, November 11th.
Pun intended.
Yeah. The Rock is The Rock, pun intended. So, like, I think he waited to step into the superhero realm because he wanted to wait for the right character for him. But I don't know if I can, like, lose myself like I did with Cena. Like, Cena, to me, Peacemaker, whenever I see Cena as Peacemaker, I don't think John Cena, I think Peacemaker, right? So, like, I don't want to be watching this movie looking at The Rock like, okay, this is The Rock, and it, like, not Black Adam. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, so,
like if he sticks true to not true to character, but doesn't pull out if he's just straight serious,
the people's eyebrow come out.
Yeah, don't give me. I don't want to see a rock bottom.
Oh, every movie there's a rock bottom.
If he just plays straight serious, I'll take it for what it is.
You didn't
like.
You
I
didn't
hope
know the rock bottom was Black Adam's finishing maneuver on Shazam.
I hope he pulls it off to where, like, by the time I leave the movie and it's over with, I'm talking about Black Adam and I'm not talking about The Rock playing Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's going to be a hard task for him just because of the personality that he is and who he's been for so many years. Like, I think that's where playing a superhero may not be the best for him because of that larger than life personality that he commands. So it'll be interesting, but hopefully the movie's good. Great cast.
Has he played a serious role since Walking Tall?
Has he played what since Walking Tall?
Has he played a serious role since Walking Tall? But it was like
no the cop in Fast and the Furious, like the agent. Was that?
Yeah, I mean Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean
I never really watched those.
The Hobbs and Shaw was good. That spinoff was great. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's been like him and Kevin Hart on the movie run. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Jumanjis.
They just had the
superhero
show.
Yeah.
So
I think that's on HBO Max now too.
Watch that. Might watch that today with the kids.
Okay. Let me know how that is if you do.
All right.
Well, speaking of movies, Hocus Pocus 2.
Did you watch it?
Hell no, I ain't watched it, but it's a.
You didn't do a double feature?
No.
Come on.
No. Have you guys all seen it?
No, I didn't watch it yet.
You've seen Hocus Pocus 1?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Watched that millions of times.
Yeah. Last year was the first year that Kendall watched Hocus Pocus.
She loved it.
Yeah, she liked it. She doesn't seem as excited for the second one, so I don't know. She's more like
a classic for our generation more than anything.
Does it hold up? Because if I go in and watch it the first time, I'm gonna be like, you know what, this is trash.
Nothing ever holds up for you though, because you always talk about the hype, so everybody hypes it up for you. I think it is one of those movies that you need to see as a kid and appreciate as you get older.
Yeah, from like that to Chris's point, like I watched it again last year with her, and like it held up from the standpoint of it took me back to however old I was whenever I watched it the first time. Like, if I'm watching it as an adult today, will I go, oh, this is amazing and awesome? Probably not. Yeah, but probably not. You know what I mean? Like it holds up from that standpoint that it takes you directly back to wherever you were at that point in time whenever you saw it as a kid. So
because there's some things that I like and don't like in the story. But for the most part, it's a good movie. And that I enjoy, and it's like one of those ones that I look forward to watching every Halloween.
Yeah. So but my daughter Donald, she's getting more into the horror stuff, and the so like she has her list that she wants to run off and watch. Freeform started this morning at like 7 a.m. with their month-long bit.
21 Days of Halloween.
Edward Scissorhands kicked off the month, which is a great movie and one that my daughter actually wants to watch. The Witches came on right after that, and that's the original. The Witches is great. The remake sucked, but the original The Witches was tremendous.
How long have you been doing that?
Like, I never thought that was a horror movie.
The Witches?
Yeah, no.
It's Halloween.
It's stuff on Freeform.
They showed it in school.
Man, that's child's play stuff. You don't watch that.
Well, I mean, you're not.
That's why I'm surprised Jason hasn't seen Hocus Pocus, because it's like Freeform, ABC Family, whatever it's been over the years. It's like they've been doing this 31 Days of Halloween for over a decade now. It's like
I've never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's the same.
You're not alone in that. But that's my daughter's favorite. Jack is her favorite. So that is
a lot of people do.
That will be watched this year.
It's just
do you watch it as a Halloween movie, or do you watch it as a Christmas movie?
I would watch it as a Halloween movie.
If it's a Halloween movie.
Let's go. We've had this debate on this show before about it's Die Hard a Christmas movie. We're not going down that road right now. So, all right. Anybody got anything else intro wise? Nope. All right. Let's jump into bell to bell. All right. Big week. Oh, I don't want to say big week in pro wrestling. No. Depending on how you look at it. I think this week for me personally was more forgettable than memorable. Agreed. As far as what was put on screen from the week that was with the various companies out there. So
I didn't watch everything, but what I saw, it was forgettable.
Well, since we have Jason wearing a Soraya / Paige shirt over there, let's just start there on Wednesday night.
Soraya. I know I said Soraya earlier, but it's Soraya.
How have they been butchering that name? Doesn't everybody know it's Soraya?
JR last night could not get, he was just having a hard time on Rampage to the point where he just stopped saying it. So we'll see how that plays out. But that was a big topic of conversation coming out of Wednesday night. And for me personally, and she admitted to this afterwards on Thursday, she sounded super rusty on the mic. The promo didn't really do anything. It was just there for a segment. I didn't like the segment. I didn't like how they presented it. And can we please stop with naming everything a revolution now? Like, can we please, let's find a different term, okay? Like, how many revolutions are we gonna have? All right. Cody coined it in the beginning of AEW, and it was what it was. It fit because it was brand new and everything else. But now, enough with the revolution tagline. Let's find something else, because you're not doing revolution whenever it's been done how many times already. It just doesn't do anything for me from that standpoint.
She brought out those women, and I was just like, these are the women that you bring out for the segment. Like, I don't know if those are the only women. Now, I know the whole hurricane situation, not everybody had to be there on Wednesday, so maybe that's why that played out the way it was. But
so then don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Don't call out the entire women's locker room, and you only have the good girls come out, and then the heels follow out by themselves separately. Don't.
I'll give you that, Dave. I did like that.
Now I don't want to jump off of this to talk about the match, but the match itself, Tony and Serena, they got roughly 11 minutes, which is a long TV match, right? And it was a hell of a match. Great match. High quality work. I don't need the middle rope pile driver anymore. Let's not do that move. That was cringy. And that's more just me worrying about Tony possibly injuring somebody on that, because her short pile driver finisher looks nasty whenever she does it. But that if you're giving me that type of quality wrestling in the women's division in AEW, great. But how many women do they have to put those types of matches on? Which is circles back to the issues with the women's division in AEW.
Maybe
Did you
5 or
enjoy
6.
Did I enjoy what?
Willow and Hater?
Another one, yes.
Was that last night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
that
see
was
it.
a physical, brutal banger of a match. Like I let them two go at it again. I really enjoyed that match from them two last night.
But I like
So,
both
like-
of them anyway,
Yeah.
so that's good that they had a good match.
Yeah, and JR put Willow over to the moon. Like he
Mhm.
made her out to be a superstar last night. So I like if you're gonna push her, great. But if you're gonna have her hanging out in Ring of Honor, we don't know when they're coming on TV. That's not really a good look either.
Put her in the mix.
Is he saying anything wrong?
No. Great character.
Even that's starting to run a little stale for me though.
Mhm.
Like I like
People are into her right now.
They were chanting Willow too. They were split 50-50 for a minute.
yeah. The wrestling from the women's division in AEW this week was great.
Yeah.
You get that, showcase that more.
Mhm.
But the promo and the segment and the back and forth and who came out, all that fell way off the mark for me.
But it
didn't
can
hit
get
at
better.
all.
I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
it's her first promo back. I mean, yeah, she does like Twitch and stuff, so she's still talking a lot, but just getting back in front of the crowd, maybe it'll take a week or two just for her to get back in the normal rhythm of it.
But like you put her out there and you immediately get the back and forth with her and Britt,
Mhm.
which is fine. But when you're looking at that, it's like, besides Britt, they really don't have nobody on that level.
Mike Wass?
Mike wise, attention grabbing wise, star power wise.
Yeah.
And you're coming up on your 3-year anniversary show next week for Dynamite, and the fact that you can only say that about one woman in 3 years is not a good look on how you've booked the women.
Mm.
I'll give Jade a little bit of the nod that she's at least attention grabbing, but not there yet. As good as Britt is.
But so much of that for Jade is her physique and her aura.
Mhm.
Like when she walked out for the very first time, that physique, like that's attention grabbing. Like, yes, that's going to get you to stop and watch what she's going to do. But it's the rest of it that has to follow up. Once you peel back that first layer, it's like, all right, well, what else are you giving me now? Right. And I just feel like they haven't done the women the just due that they deserve. And besides Britt, once you lose a title, you're basically forgotten.
Yeah.
Sheeta was the hottest thing ever. We talked about her and Bailey carrying the divisions for each respective company during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And once she lost the belt to Britt, it's been a non-thing for Sheeta.
And it's same, like you said, same thing for Britt. There's no reason that because Britt isn't the champion that she can't go out there and cut a promo.
Same thing for Nala.
It's like I just
She's
don't understand.
To Jade.
Yeah, and Nyla and Jade, do I want to see it? Yeah, because I think Jade will have to step up her wrestling to go one-on-one with Nyla. Like Nyla in the ring she can wrestle in the ring. Like, but you have a heel versus a heel, so it's like, who am I going to root for in that situation? Like, neither one of them are going to turn babyface coming out of this program. So what's the point in having the program?
He says, I mean, as far as Bailey, WWE has no talkers either. I feel like the women lack conviction in promos. Not a bash, just an observation.
Bailey's not a talker either.
Bailey's a way better talker than what she was.
Bailey gets my attention when she talks, though. She might not be hitting home runs with a promo each week, but I think she gets the job done.
And Bailey's, I think the way Bailey talks on the microphone fits her character.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got Bailey, you got Becky. Charlotte hasn't been around in months.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha's
Sasha
gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
Walker-wise.
Yeah,
Because Ronda can't do it. Natalia can't do it.
You run through the list now. Ronda, Liv, Natalia.
Yeah, Shayna's not great on the mic, but Shayna doesn't need to be great on the mic either.
Alexa used to do it.
Yeah, Alexa used to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Used to.
This is what it is when Asuka talks. She's there for the comedic timing.
Now, if we're talking about this women's revolution and it's going to be sparked, and women are going to be featured more, etc., what are you looking to do? How would you book this women's revolution? Who would you feature? Where would you go? Who would you put together in a feud? Like, where would you go right now? Given the current roster, obviously Thunder Rosa is still out because of injury, but where would you go with it?
Do like AEW do all the time and put a tournament on. Well, they feature them girls.
Where's that mute button at?
Oh no, not for me, because I didn't watch AEW anything this week. The hell with that promotion.
You have Britt. You have Athena. You have Tony. I'd put Penelope in there. Willow and Hater.
Into what?
Just in like as your main,
as your five that
As
we
your
always
five?
call it.
Okay.
I'd like to see Sheeta added back in the mix.
I was gonna say Sheeta.
Yeah.
You gotta take
Deeb is-
the best that you have, and it's like whenever who did what was it Madison Rain when she came in a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
Who did she wrestle in her opening match? That wasn't Willow, was it?
I don't even remember.
But she had a good match, and it was just like you had someone, the veteran versus the young talent, and that's what I would like to see more of. You know, just let it be. You know, the balance. You know, help them out and get them over.
I think the problem is though you don't have a lot of veterans. How do you classify a veteran?
I think I would
Because, like-
classify Sheeta. I would classify Athena. I would put Britain there.
Deeb obviously.
You know,
is a
Tony,
veteran.
Deeb. Yeah.
Where's Mercedes Martinez at? Where's she been at?
Is Diamante still in the company?
Yeah, she just wrestled.
Yeah, she just fought
Jade.
Jade.
She
Okay.
just wrestled Jade
Grand
last
Slam,
week
uh-huh.
at Grand Slam.
I mean, there's plenty of women.
Why is Kiera Hogan not wrestling? Like, there's.
Is she injured? I think I might have heard that she was injured.
I know Red Velvet was injured. I didn't think Kiera was injured.
I don't
too.
think Kiera was injured.
Yeah, I think there's definitely plenty of young talent. It's just showcasing them.
Where the hell is Abaddon?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't need Abaddon, but yeah. She's,
But it's unique. It's something
It's
different
unique,
that
yeah.
the roster could use.
It's unique. It's
She's
different.
like-
She's completely changed up her physique and look. Like, she looks amazing now.
I haven't even seen her since months. So
Yeah, I mean, she's had a couple dark matches here, but like, she's nowhere to be found.
I mean, she's a character. To me, she could be like the female Darby Allin. You know, where you can get people behind her, like wanting to see her each week or every couple weeks.
Yeah. That faded fast.
This is her WrestleMania. Is that why she's getting in shape?
I mean,
Statlander when
Madison-
she comes back.
Yeah. There's potential. It's just not utilized.
I mean,
Madison
rumor
was
is that
brought
they
in
want
to-
to build up a women's show. I mean, is
not
that
being
even something that
utilized.
you guys want to see?
I'll watch.
I would, but if you're gonna do a women's show, if you're gonna have if you brought Madison in to like oversee the women and be a coach and that, and you know, you got her and Deeb, and if you give it back to Omega, because I don't even know if he still is.
I was going to say, is Omega and Cheetah still running the women's division, or is it Madison now?
That's what I mean. We have no idea. So like you got to establish that continuity up top.
Or is
and then
Soraya going to come in? And
I mean, if you're going to have her come in and you're going to placate to her and get more TV time for women because you brought her in, okay, great. I'm all for that. But what are you going to do with it? Because you really haven't done anything for anybody. There's not a beside. I mean, Thunder and Britt was the last like feud storyline that mattered in the women's division.
Yeah.
And I was excited to see what Jamie and Britt was going to do, but they've even cooled off on that. So like where are you going with that stuff now? That's like an afterthought. It didn't even happen.
Because like you said, since she's lost the title, she just hasn't been focused at all. It's like, if you're not going to put her in the focus, you can't have Jamie turn on her and make it mean something.
And if the people are clamoring for Jamie, which they are, then having her go over on Britt just elevates Jamie up even more. It doesn't hurt Britt. That's how you use people. That's how one goes over, one gets over. That's Bully Ray's famous line. One goes over, one gets over. If you're not accomplishing that with the stories that you're telling and the matches you're having, then you failed. You've done nothing but just put people out there to take up time and space.
As the promotion is ran now, I just see it as all talk. I do. I see it as all talk until they confer with the three Hogans too, what they want to do. So
the three Hogans,
the Trinity.
The Trinity. Until TK confers with them, I don't believe anything that they said. So that's just how I am now with this promotion.
The other thing that I liked from Wednesday night was the MJF and Willer Yuta stuff. I'm at least getting the foundation of a story.
MJF's pretty much the only good thing going in the company right now. I'm not really there for a whole lot other than MJF at the moment.
Oh, what, you didn't like Jared Hogan bookending the show? From the front and the back? With an appearance from Moxley Hogan in the middle? I mean, it took all three spots.
There was one match I didn't watch. Guess what match it was that I didn't watch?
The main event.
Hey, and I know Jericho is getting the bad rap right now, but he gave the rub to Bandito on Wednesday night.
That's true.
He took all his signature shit and everything else as a 50+ man out there making him shine on his first night and first match in the company. Like, I can't fault Jericho for that. And Jericho was on AEW Unrestricted this week, and he was talking like, that's the goal now. I have X number of years left. I got to build up and get as many young people over as possible. So when I'm done, there's more that are left behind me. So if he's going to stick to that and actually do it, great. Does that mean that he has to lose every match to do it? No. Like, I felt Wednesday night was a fantastic job of him putting Bandito over. And I was skeptical of the match when they announced it. I'm like, this isn't going to work. Bandito works way too fast. He does the high spots and everything else. Like, how are they going to pull that match out? And sure enough, Jericho, being the ring veteran that he is, you may shit on him all you want, but the man knows how to work a match. He fucking pulled it off on Wednesday night.
Tell me you want more championships without telling me you want more championships. That's my goal, to put young people over. Okay.
I think the ROH title thing. All right, the match was good. You put Bandito over. I'm not mad at that. Bandito, former Ring of Honor champion, it fit where you're going with ROH right now. The anti-ROH guy that's coming in to destroy the honor and the legacy of the company that was built on honor and respect, I'm all for that storyline. However, why didn't you give me that before he wrestled Claudio?
Yeah.
Don't, you know what I mean? Like, then at least he has, you've given me what your intentions are and why why you're going after the champ and why Claudio would want to have that match against you.
So now does Ring of Honor original Bryan Danielson have to come in and take the title from Jericho? Because to me, it should be Jericho drops it to whoever they want to be the face of Ring of Honor. But
Garcia.
I wouldn't mind that. I see it being Danielson, though.
Well, we know he's not going to be able to wrestle and beat Punk as an ROH champion, so that's out the bag.
CM Hogan will have something to say about that.
He's done. Everything that is saying that he's going to get bought out and we won't see him wrestle ever again.
It's all work to Donald.
It's all talk.
No, but I'm like, give me the storyline that you're going to do. I'm okay with it. Like the sports entertainer, the guy that has no respect, that's going to cheat to win the Ring of Honor, not do the Ring of the honor code handshake before the match. Like, I'm okay. That's what you want to do. Great. Like, I can get on board with it because Jericho can pull it off. But you should have done it before he wrestled Claudio, so the intentions were known. Not 3 weeks later, after a main event promo to close the show. Like, the timing of it made no sense.
It would have been better too if it was on like a Ring of Honor show, like we were talking about last week. Like, hey, I'm the entertainer coming into your show to take your title.
Have we heard the good news?
What's the good news? Look, my 2 cents on this is not where I wanted to go with it, but we listen to our audience here. So my 2 cents on CM Punk for me, and I felt this way since he started out in WWE ECW. He's just overrated. He's been overrated his entire career.
Agreed.
I've never been on the Punk bandwagon. I've never been on the Punk hype train. I've never been the why are you clamoring for this guy that's been gone for 7 years, where you continuously chant his name. Like, I've never seen it with Punk. I don't get it. I never got it. Don't think I ever will get it. And you can ban me and not listen to the show anymore if that's your take, but it is what it is. Like, to me, he's not a top 5. He's not a top 10. No.
I like we're gonna have another rivalry podcast.
Well, you're from Chicago, so you're brainwashed. So I mean, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, that's your guy. Like, it is what it is. I'm not mad at you for having your guy be your guy, but like the hype surrounding him, he was never on that level.
The first message of the day.
Well, hey. This is a little coffee and not tea, but I mean, it is what it is. Like,
I like Punk. I've been a fan of his since I watched him, but the one thing I will agree with you on that was said on this show multiple times in the past year is that in AEW he shouldn't have been booked as the guy, but as an attraction. And you could, even while he was injured, he could still be booked as an attraction. And it's booking him as the guy was the wrong call the whole time.
There's just levels to the game, and to me, he's not on the Rock, Austin, Flair, Hogan. Like, he's just not on. He's not there.
No,
he's not even climbing Mount Rushmore. He's at the bottom, looking up, watching.
Only thing I'm going to say is go back and watch our show whenever he first came out on AEW first, and that will explain everything that I have to say. So I'm not even going to waste my time with him.
So in post-production, I have to do that little transition clip right in between.
So that's the thoughts on CM Punk. We'll leave that be. I mean, he's gone. He's over with him. Like, I'm done. That's the last time I'm talking about Punk. Like, I'm not doing it no more.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all know Donald's feelings on that.
Right. He could have been what Daniel Bryan is right now, or Bryan Danielson is right now. He could have been.
He could have been what Sting is.
Yeah.
Nah, Sting will want his welcome. Sting has worn out his welcome.
No, but from the attraction standpoint, you don't need like whenever he. I said I'm done talking about Punk, and I'm still talking about Punk. But when he first came in and was wrestling like what was it, Lee Moriarty and like
Darby Lee,
and not like
that was good.
It's fine.
Let it ride. MJF, you elevate MJF, great.
What Jericho's talking about doing is what Punk could have been doing too, the whole time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And here's the thing: you have a 3-year anniversary show, but you don't have Kenny and the Bucks on it. So I don't know how that's going to come off.
Maybe a TK show.
And it's going to be. Do you see? There's going to be a 15-minute overrun on the episode.
Another debut.
So.
Yeah. And then they officially announced Battle of the Belts will be live on Friday night instead of taped and then aired on Saturday.
I'll be watching Aaron Judge.
Anything else AEW wise?
Do we have any thoughts on Andrade versus Preston Vance?
So I'm glad you brought this up because I didn't know if we were going to get into this or not, and I don't know if they turned a shoot into a work or a work into a shoot. But the fact that what was it? Andrade tweeted out that he wasn't unhappy. Was that a real tweet, or was that something that was just like a fan made thing?
What, bring out Idolo?
Yeah.
No, I think that was him.
All right. So you don't know if he is unhappy or not. I think Hunter being in the game. I think Hunter being in the game over there and him being married to Charlotte, that all ties into him going back to WWE if he is really unhappy. Another guy, they dropped the ball with him. Mm-hmm. They absolutely ruined everything about him. His run has been it's been unforgettable. Or forgettable.
Forgettable.
It's been forgettable. Mm-hmm. I can't name one feud that he's been in. You know, has he had some good matches? Yeah, he's had some good matches.
Honestly, the only feud that I remember is him and Darby, and I did not enjoy it.
Oh, that coffin match.
The coffin match was terrible.
Coffin match we get once every.
That was the one here,
months.
Right?
Didn't him and Kenny wrestle? I feel like him and Kenny had a good match.
I don't remember.
But I mean, he's like, again, it's a debut that got a pop that people were excited about, and you've done nothing with it. Yep. So,
I mean, he was definitely a Triple H guy in NXT, so Vince didn't treat him right on the main roster all that well. So, if he would go back, maybe he would. They wanted to try to make him, I think, the next Del Rio in WWE, and it never worked. Not that it didn't work. I enjoyed it, but
I think that you tweet out free Idolo, and then you're putting your career on the line next week. Just says everything you need to know about booking in AEW right now.
Did you see him do the suck it picture?
No, but that's tremendous if you did.
Get the crotch jaw pick.
But that's the issue right there. That's the booking issue right there. Mm-hmm. There's no story, there's no build, and all of a sudden you're having a mask versus career match. They don't even pull that bullshit in CMLL and AAA. Like they build to those.
I said that was a AAA show.
Okay, yeah. I knew him and Kenny wrestled, and they had a banger of a match. But
yeah, I do remember that now. That was what Triple Mania 2 years ago.
I think so.
Yeah, right after he debuted. That August after he debuted.
I feel like it's a work. I feel like Vance is going to lose.
True.
And he's going to be he's not going to be in Dark Order anymore.
Who's in Dark Order anymore? It's the Dark Order.
Hangman and Johnny Hungry.
They were like the only cool thing Andrade did was take a mask off during his entrance.
Yeah.
I mean, the entrance was pretty sweet with the suit and the mask. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know,
I've never liked the assistant dude with him. Like, that's never worked for me at all.
Get all the assistants out of here.
Yeah.
Jose the assistant.
I mean, you bring Stacy Keibler back as assistant. I'm all
Yeah,
for it,
you bring real valets back, not Jose and my man Marvez. Whoever.
Marvez needs to just go back to commentary. I don't. Such a waste.
You brought up the whole faction thing with Dark Order and who's in and who's out and everything else. Like,
yeah, who is?
There's a lot of groups right now that I'm just scratching my head about. Like the Firm bullshit they did last night with Morrissey. Did he straighten his hair? Like, did he have the hairstylist straighten his hair before that interview? And he just stood there wrapping tape around his wrist. Like, how big of a roll of tape did you have to film that segment?
And didn't have a match.
He's just a heavy right now.
Be ready just in case.
Hey, he's just a heavy right now.
But you created a faction that said this is the last time you'll see us together. We're just together when we need it. What?
And then you go from that, and then you do Warjoe. Well, wasn't Wardlow with FTR? Like, why is he with Samoa Joe right now? And who are they taking on? And why are they like
anybody?
Why are they a team? There's no reason for them to be a team.
Just to get that Ring of Honor title, some TV time that they don't have.
Hey, there's marketing right there that they need to take advantage of.
That title doesn't look like a graphic that should be popping up for a wrestling match.
Comment section's been on fire today.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, it's what do you there's no continuity to anything right now. And it's not good. It's just not good. So
it's because they're one Hogan down. So yeah,
brother.
Speaking of not good, NXT this week, not good.
I didn't see it. I saw the Steiner Math promo on.
That's the only thing I liked about it was that was it. Just that saying. That was all.
Yeah, it's that we're not even going to spend time on the show this week.
No.
I'm looking for the Halloween Havoc matches, but none of the build was just.
My question that I have for that promo, I can save till we do our Halloween Havoc predictions.
Yeah. So speaking of, why are you giving that guy TV time?
I have no idea.
Internet sensation. One video, this man is on everything.
No reason, because Tony's a mark.
You can't even get a Pizza Hut promo. Just throw something in there. Save 20% with Luigi Primo.
Tony Khan is like Kevin Durant. He just stays on social media, see what fans say.
Promo code pepperoni.
Should have threw a shot out there, been like White Rabbit.
Why do I have a feeling this upcoming week, whenever there's a Super Mario trailer that gets released, that we're going to see Luigi Primo?
I don't know. Yeah.
There's been good stuff on NXT the past couple weeks, like with the matches, with the introduction of a lot of the UK talent. That's brought in some fresh matchups, but actual good show from what I've watched overall, no.
Now, before we get into Monday, I guess we can start off with Monday night, because to me, Raw was probably my favorite show of the week, which is saying something about the week if Raw was my favorite show.
Yeah,
but I thought top to bottom, it was great wrestling. The couple things that I didn't like did not take up a lot of screen time, and were not on the show long, so I didn't remember them all like that because they weren't there for a long time. And the wrestling overshadowed, most of that stuff that wasn't good. So Raw for me, top to bottom, all 3 hours was the best show of the week. From that standpoint,
I agree that it was probably the show week of what I watched, because I didn't watch everything, but to me, it wasn't a good show. Like, I was bored within the first hour. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's as good as better as that's Raw has been getting with Triple H running it. It's just 3 hours is still killing it. Just you can't have that good of a show. No, it's not, and it won't. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know how you can make Raw a good 3 hour watch again consistently. You can do the occasional episode, because the first 2 weeks that Triple H was running it actually wasn't bad for 3 hours. But like a consistent watch every week of 3 hours just isn't going to happen.
I think that's a very large ask of any show to run weekly for 3 hours. Besides, like NFL football. That's going to be consistently good to watch every single week for 3 hours. Like I
said last Monday, the first hour was great. Last Monday, I really enjoyed that, because I thought they were trying to get those views before everybody definitely tuned into football on Monday night. But this week I was just like, I don't watch football, but it made me want to turn it off Raw.
Anybody catch the QR code?
I did not
Monday,
click
yes.
on it, but
You did? Okay. I had my TV trying to pause it on Dominic Mysterio for like a good half an hour to get that QR code.
What was the answer for that one?
Oh, it just took you to a video of
it was like a TikTok video,
little montage. Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching.
They give you like coordinates and
I was watching Kenny, and we were talking about it on there a little bit.
Okay.
It was just, it was weird, because it's like the video was cool, but it's like the coordinates like hinted at rabbits and stuff, but it was just different than what they've been putting out. Yeah. I didn't see what last night's was, though. I heard there was another one, SmackDown, but
it was somebody who ran behind commentary for a minute with a sign where it's just like a quote.
Okay.
And it wrapped off.
So no QR code last night.
Else.
I seen somebody on social media said 1411. Was that real? Like
that's
something 1411, and that was in Bray's hat in one of his fun houses, or I don't know if somebody photoshopped that or not.
I don't know.
Been playing around.
I think that was the date for their next show.
Okay.
Or their show in Kentucky, I do believe.
All right.
It'll be Charlotte.
Yeah, they brought that up, but like I was looking on Monday night, it doesn't look like they have any shows in Kentucky coming up. So it's like I didn't understand the Kentucky zip code.
So Triple H talked about this week about the QR code stuff and everything else, and they're going to incorporate this more moving forward as far as like a marketing type deal to promote storylines, returns, etc. So this is not going to be the last time we see this be done from them moving forward.
This is the most trending stuff I've seen on anything.
It was cool in NXT. It was cool in NXT because you got you like surprise return, like returns. Like that's how Zoe Stark returned with the QR code. They gave you a little vignette for her, and they had you just like question who's coming.
Who did the countdown? Someone did a countdown in NXT. Remember that one?
Was that Dream?
No, not a countdown. It was a battery. Someone had a battery. That was it.
Ember Moon, I do believe.
Was that Ember? Okay.
Yeah. Ember was the battery or whatever. I mean, it's cool. Like it's.
I have a feeling it's going to be Charlotte.
If it is Charlotte, people are going to be pissed.
I want that. I want it to be just somebody not
be different.
I need the internet meltdown.
I mean, Bray is the obvious answer, right?
So it's not going to be it.
And this is one of those things where it's like, if it's Bray, it's the obvious choice, and it's even whenever it's an obvious answer, it can still be entertaining.
Correct.
It's like you're enjoying the ride, even though you think what the final destination is going to be, but you're enjoying
It's obvious because of what?
The dirt sheets.
It's obvious because we're speculating, and everybody's just playing. There's a rabbit. Bray had a rabbit. That's all we're working off of.
Right.
But it's also with it's kind of like whenever they would do like the Undertaker vignettes, like they did the outside rain, the lightning, and all that kind of stuff. It's like there's little things like that. It's just like you can speculate who it's going to be, but it's still enjoyable to get there. And I'm enjoying this right now, even if it's Bray. Like, cool. Like, I'll be happy Bray's back. But if it's somebody else, okay, we'll see what they do with that. If it's somebody else, if it's going to be enjoyable.
So speaking of enjoyable, now we got Extreme Rules coming up this coming Saturday, and we'll do a prediction show either separately or we'll do it next week on the show live here Saturday morning. But Kenny, our boy Kenny from the Call Up, tweeted out this week. So what do you think of the Extreme Rules stipulation so far? So not even factoring in who's wrestling in these matches, just the stipulations themselves, right? We have an Extreme Rules match, a strap match, a fight pit, a ladder match, and a Donnybrook match. Does any of that excite you?
Everything except a strap match.
Yeah,
I am over strap matches for the rest of my life now.
The Donnybrook match doesn't excite me, but the people that are in that match, I think will make it fun.
Yeah.
Well, Donnybrook is the same as an Extreme Rules match. It's just called a Donnybrook.
I think, to me, it's just going to be... We had this conversation last week. To me, it's going to be like Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. That's what I'm expecting. Just
for the Donnybrook?
Yeah. Like
there'll be barricades outside and barrels and
like I'm just expecting over the top Extreme Rules for that match, because you're going to have your serious Extreme Rules match with Ronda and Liv, so that's going to be,
which won't get too extreme probably. So Donnybrook would be the real extreme.
Look, here's my thing, and I tweeted back to Kenny that I just like snooze and just these types of gimmick pay-per-views that we talk about all the time. So you're just adding stipulations to matches to fit the gimmick pay-per-view. It doesn't do anything. There's no reason, based on any of these feuds, for me to get excited about the stipulation being added to the match. Did you get there with Cross and Drew for it to be a strap match that they're so... It's such a hated rivalry. It's such a bitter feud that they have to go into a strap match based on what previous strap matches have been? No. Bayley and Bianca for a ladder match for the title. What is the driving force to why they have to hang the belt above the ring for them to have a ladder match for it to be the title match?
Could have been a cage
shenanigans.
Match, you got
a cage match would fit better because you have to keep the outside interference out, right?
Yeah.
The ladder match just, to me, says shenanigans are going to happen to try to get Bayley the title.
The only stipulation that fits so far for me, looking at the card, is Riddle and Seth in the fight pit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a story that's been told for how many months now, right? So you've built up to that. That makes sense. Everything
that's another
else
match I would rather have a regular cage instead of a fight pit.
Everything else on this card is just the stipulation to have a stipulation because you're doing a stipulation pay-per-view, and that's my problem with it.
And they got away from this for a few years, where not every match had a stipulation. There was like only a couple.
Everybody complained about that,
and people did complain about that. So I'm interested to seeing how this works out with the stipulations, but I agree. I don't need every match to have a stipulation either.
Yeah, and Taekwon said it best. And it is what it is. It's the flaw of every gimmick pay-per-view. You don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just doesn't work. We're past this as far as shows being run. We don't need the gimmicky pay-per-views no more. If you're going to do a pay-per-view once a month or once every 6 weeks, fine. I'm okay with that, but I don't need it to be tethered to a stipulation show. Like, it doesn't do everything.
Custody of Dawn match again, huh? Yeah, I agree with that, Ty.
Like Lethal Lockdown didn't make sense at all because it's like, why is every match in the cage? Just to be different and put it on? Like, okay.
And I liked when they got away from that and they just did one Lethal Lockdown on the pay-per-view instead of every match.
And Extreme Rules doesn't fit. It hasn't fit in the PG era.
Mm-mm. I'm hoping that we get away, like you said, with these types of gimmick pay-per-views. So I don't need an Elimination Chamber having its own pay-per-view. Just do the match when it fits. Same with Hell in a Cell. Just do the match when it fits. TLC, yeah. And I think this year they're actually not doing the TLC pay-per-view, but right now there's nothing scheduled for December. But you have 2 pay-per-views in November, and then you have 2 in January as well. So,
that's just
the day one.
Day one, and then Rumble.
And Rumble, okay.
Oh, they're doing day one again?
Yep. Yeah. Back in Atlanta again, so apparently that's going to be Atlanta's every year.
Goldberg will be back.
So that'll probably be on a Sunday because New Year's Day is on a Sunday this year, coming up.
Yeah. So that's my whole issue, Kenny. You're just giving me matches with stipulations because you have to fit a stipulation pay-per-view that's a gimmick pay-per-view where none of these feuds, sans one, is to the point called. Yeah, or call it broken rules, whatever. Like this is like
at least you're getting feuds though.
Rules.
At least they're all based off feuds.
And I will say that even though some of the feuds that are on the pay-per-view are shorter, just recently started, I will agree with you there, Jason. So if we're going to get the Triple H pay-per-views where we're running stories and feuds and building to culminations at a pay-per-view like it used to be done, okay, great. I can buy into that. But get away from the gimmicks, please. Like it's overdone. It's not needed, and it doesn't help the show at all because it pigeonholes the workers into having to do something specifically for the stipulation that they're having.
Yeah.
And so after Extreme Rules next week, then we got like a month build up to Crown Jewel, and then after that, just a couple of weeks for Survivor Series.
Well, they're starting Crown Jewel build up this week on Raw with Logan and Roman. So I believe it's on Raw. It's on SmackDown. It's one of those two this week, the face-to-face. So they're already kicking that off 6 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, they started with the press conference, 2 weeks ago? So like building up for that. But I mean, if you're going to be doing this, War Games match at Survivor Series for men and women, you got to start a feud soon. I don't want to see that get hot-shotted right after Crown Jewel.
And I don't want it to be Damage Control and Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca.
Yeah.
We didn't see this match how many times?
Yeah, and again that goes to the gimmick, right? Like if you're gonna have War Games, don't force me into a War Games. Like build it so I go. We need to have a War Games match for this.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Get me excited based on the story for the match, not just it's a War Games match. Let me be excited. No, I flip it around. I want to be excited based off of the story and the feud that builds to the War Games match itself.
Because I like it, and like Triple H said, this is an evolution of Survivor Series, and I think it's a good evolution with this, doing something different there, getting you excited for a pay-per-view that most people think is a forgettable pay-per-view now.
But let's not evolve it from Survivor Series to calling it War Games every year, and we have a War Games match every year.
True.
Like, let's not evolve it to that point because you can see it doing that, and that's just not that's not good for the course either. Anything else, WWE?
Because I just real quick, because I did like whenever they brought in the Elimination Chamber for Survivor Series, the first one that year. It's like I thought that was a good change up for it. So yeah, changing things up every now and then with the event is a good thing to get people excited for the event.
All right. Anything else? No. All right. We got to debate this week. This came out of a tweet from Chris Bay. Impact tweeted out here. So Let's throw it up and get into it. Attitude Era versus Ruthless Aggression Era. And let me pull up his exact tweet so that way you know the parameters for the debate. If I saved it off, I sent it in the group text. Hold on. Pull back the pre-production meeting here. All right, so Chris Bay tweeted out, also, Ruthless Aggression Era was better than the Attitude Era from a quality standpoint, and it's not even close. So quality standpoint. By that, I mean quality of matches standpoint?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's vague.
Yeah.
Quality of like what is it?
There's not enough criteria in that statement.
So for this debate itself, let's just go off of the quality of wrestling between the two eras. His statement is the Ruthless Aggression Era was better than the Attitude Era. If you're going by length of time, the Attitude Era was roughly 97 to 2002. Ruthless Aggression Era was from 2002 to 2008.
And
so,
where do you consider the Ruthless Aggression Era to start? Do you consider it June 2002 when Vince McMahon said the words Ruthless Aggression, or I consider Ruthless Aggression right whenever the draft happened? So April 1st, 2002 is whenever I consider Ruthless Aggression started.
I consider Ruthless Aggression from when John Cena walked in the ring and screamed in Kurt Angle's face, Ruthless Aggression.
That's what I was thinking.
It sounds about right, yeah.
That's where I would put the flagpole from a starting off point.
So June 2002.
June 2002. So
quality of matches, I mean, it gets better as time goes on. So you can't, I don't know if you can judge that.
Ruthless Aggression Era, the beginning of the draft and like the first year or so of that era was rough. It was real rough. Like Raw was unwatchable at that point. Like for me, SmackDown was the show that I watched because it was more entertaining, just in more matches were enjoyable. Where Raw, I would tune in just nothing. Like there was no enjoyment whatsoever. It's like, to me, Ruthless Aggression Era is just enjoyment. I enjoyed the Attitude Era a lot more than a lot of the Ruthless Aggression Era, but as it went on, it did progress and get better.
So was Heyman SmackDown 6, was that Ruthless Aggression Era?
Yes.
I mean, the matches that they were putting on.
Yeah. But that's, SmackDown was the show to watch whenever Heyman was running it.
Like, so quality wise, you know, that, not saying that there weren't bangers in the Attitude Era, because there definitely was memorable matches. I think
I could see that if someone started with Ruthless Aggression then went back to Attitude, like watch some of that, maybe I could see why.
That's probably, he's a young guy. Probably how it went.
Yeah. But coming off the Attitude Era and getting into Ruthless Aggression, there were some hiccups there. It was rebuilding. It was almost a rebuilding era.
See, this is tough for me because I think I only watched 2 years of Ruthless Aggression before I took my long hiatus from wrestling.
Mm.
So it was hard to say for me, was the wrestling good, because I wasn't watching wrestling then.
Mm.
But from what I noticed from the era, for me, I'm a story-based person. And to me, the Attitude Era only had 2 stories for me that I really enjoyed. You know, this is me back in high school, like junior high and all that stuff. Mm. But I think the Higher Power one, because that kept me hooked in interest, that and Who Ran Over Stone Cold. Like those 2 stories really hooked me there. Because everything back in the Attitude Era was like, you know, when they said Howard Stern, this and that, show me the puppies, something for like adolescent boys.
Jerry Springer,
Jerry Springer type. But when I look back at it now, the wrestling there was terrible. I mean, you had a couple of good matches, but the wrestling was bad when you look at it now.
I think it was
the Ruthless Aggression Era, from what I noticed, like the stories were better. I'm guessing the wrestling was better. So for me, I would probably say story-wise, for me, Ruthless Aggression was better than the Attitude Era.
I think Attitude had more entertainment, but I hated more characters in the Attitude Era. So I'll go Ruthless Aggression.
I think larger than life character wise, Attitude Era wins hands down. The shock and awe, just throw everything under the sun booking that Russo was doing back then, and Vince and both Vinces and that, like, it fit the times. It was culturally relevant. It led to the biggest boom era in wrestling. Mm-hmm. You had, arguably some of the biggest stars in wrestling history come out of that Attitude Era itself. But I think if you go back and you look at it and you put the two next to each other from an in-ring work wise, as far as what will stand up the test of time, match for match, I would give it to the Ruthless Aggression Era. So
you had a lot of those Attitude Era stars that were
in the Ruthless Aggression Era.
In the Ruthless Aggression Era, and they were more in the prime of their career. So they had more experience under their belt and were having a lot better matches than probably what they did have in the Attitude Era, like a Kurt Angle.
Right. All right. So that's this week's Debate This. Hit us up on social media. Let us know which era you choose as far as quality of wrestling.
Whichever one had Bret Hart in it, got to go.
What was that?
What is that?
Whichever one had Bret Hart in it, got to go. Attitude Era.
All right.
And he wasn't even there that long.
Let's go.
Chug, 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 chug.
All right. This week's Drink of the Week is brought to you by Four Seasons Brewing Company, founded in 2012 out of Latrobe, PA.
Ooh,
it's called Monkey Business. It's an ale with strawberries and bananas.
Strawberries, okay. I didn't know that had strawberries in it.
7.6% alcohol by volume.
Smells good. I really like the smell.
Not really smelling strawberries or bananas in it, but
hard to smell with a clogged up nose, but
yeah.
Trying.
Definitely smelling the ale.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to differ on this one.
I hate this kind of beer, but it's going down. It's not as bad as I expected it to be.
I think this is a swing and a miss for me.
So there's definitely something there, okay. Like I don't know, like it has a flavor to it, but like
I'm not tasting bananas. I think I'm getting the strawberry, but I'm not getting bananas. Because I'm getting like a tart, something tart. And I think that's gotta be the strawberries.
To me, I think it's a drinkable beer. It's not real heavy. There's a little bite, little kick to it. Like I feel a little burn, which I wasn't expecting. Like, I mean, it is 7.6% alcohol, but
that's not overpowering.
It's not overpowering, but I would give this like a steady Eddie grade. I'd go 2.5 on this. Would I pick it up again? No. If I'm at a a beer tasting event, would I bring it for people to try as like just a random pick 'em up beer to put out there? I would add this into that rotation to see what people like and don't like about it. But I'm not going to go to the beer distributor specifically to look for this beer to buy it myself.
Mm-hmm. For me, at first taste, it tasted good, but then every taste after that, with a couple of the beers, it just started dropping in status until it's like really, really tart, like Chris said. So I'll give it a 2.
the tarts you would think would be more like if it was like cherry. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Not really expecting that from strawberries.
Jason chugged it.
Well, he chugs every beer. It doesn't mean he enjoyed it.
Yeah. It went down smoother than I expected. So I'll give it a 2.5. I wouldn't pick it up. If you gave it to me, I'd be like, yeah, I'll have another.
I'm slightly getting the banana, not a lot. It's definitely the tartness. Whenever I smelled it in the first taste, all I got was the basic ale. Like I wasn't picking up anything else. After a couple sips, I picked up on that tartness from the strawberry. Getting a little banana now, but not really a whole lot. I mean, yeah, I'm getting the slight burn from, like you said, Steve, from that 7.6, but which I wouldn't expect either at that percentage. But for me, swing and a miss. To me, mostly it's a basic ale. I'm giving it a 1.
I think I would pour this into a glass and let it sit for a minute or two, and then go back to try it to see if it tastes different than drinking it out of the can.
Okay.
But yeah, not overly impressed with it. So. And that's how we're going to end the Drink of the Week segment this week. All right, this week in sports, obviously the big topic is the concussion situation with Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback from the Dolphins. Sunday appeared to be concussed, although all reports from himself and the team and independent neurologists and everything else said that he didn't have a concussion and that, it was a back injury where something seized up in his back, causing him to stumble and fall over in the game. If you're just a novice looking at it, dude looked like he had a concussion, right? Like,
yes.
Textbook definition pictures of what a concussion would look like from somebody on the field. Okay. They turn around and they play Thursday night against the Bengals. Second quarter, throws it out there, smacked down to the ground, and immediately seized up, fingers, everything. It was an ugly scene. One of the sports injuries where I looked away the most, watching it in real time. I think, I think back to when Jason Kendall broke his ankle on first base. That was gruesome and nasty. That's what he did. He seized, everything seized up. Yeah, I don't know. So, but it's come out, he's fine, everything, all movement and all this other stuff in his extremities and everything. He's back into testing and whatnot. But Chris Nowinski, former pro wrestler whose career ended from concussions, kind of just went in hard in the NFL and talked about second impact syndrome and everything else. I don't know what you do in that situation. If the player says he's fine and he passes all tests and it's team doctor approved and it's independent neurologist approved and everything else, I don't know what's the right situation there to say, okay, you've passed everything. Your baselines read normal. Everything's good. You have no other lingering symptoms of anything that would suggest the concussion and all that. But we're still going to sit you out of this game on Thursday. I don't know when and how you make that call.
Does it just end there Sunday, or do they keep running testing to make sure?
So they have the baseline test right there during the game, right? And supposedly he went through all that at halftime on Sunday and passed everything, which is why he was able to come back into the game. From there, he would enter the concussion protocol. Well, no, he wouldn't have entered the concussion protocol because he didn't have a concussion.
Yeah.
So, unless he's coming to them with lingering symptoms or saying, I'm feeling this and that,
they just cleared him and just
they cleared him. And I mean, if you watch the game on Thursday, he came out first drive goes 6 or 7 down the field. They kick a field goal like he looked normal. Like, but the minute he got slammed down to the ground and seized up, it led to, why is he out there? He shouldn't have been playing. This is ridiculous. This is what's wrong with the NFL. Like just everybody and anybody came out. I don't. It's a very thin, fine line for me. So I don't.
Yeah, do you do the? Because if you even passed all the tests, the initial test, I mean, are you concerned about long-term effects with it? Like, I don't know. Maybe you sit him out the next game just as a precaution.
So this hits home a little different for us here in Pittsburgh because we dealt with this with Sidney Crosby for a good portion of his career, and the lingering effects, the multiple concussions, back-to-backs, missing extended period of time. And I heard Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk and them talking about this prior to the Thursday night game on Pat McAfee show. Concussions, it's not a black and white thing. I can have a concussion based off of me falling down and hitting my head. But Chris, you fall down and hit your head the same exact way that I did. You may not have a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, you may get up and think that you don't have a concussion, but 3 days later, you can't stand light and you're throwing up everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Donald, you're great. You can run a marathon, no problem, and you keep it moving. So, like, it's something that's completely different with everybody. And then, you know, you go into, well, how truthful are these guys answering the baseline test to set the baseline? Are they tanking it to game the system to be able to pass it whenever they're asked the questions? It's just, I don't really know what they can do or can't do and how they move forward. The NFL is allegedly investigating it, and we'll see if anything comes out from it. But
and NFLPA is investigating also.
Yeah, like I don't know, but it was an ugly sight, and I mean, that's what you worry about the most. You fall down, you hit your head, you're obviously stumbling, and then 4 days later, you're out there playing a game that's a violent sport, and you get slammed on your head again.
Yeah, that's the question I want to.
What does this do moving forward?
Question I want to ask you now: if the game wasn't played on Thursday, but say the game was played on Sunday, would everybody still be in a firestorm about this?
Not as later. Much. I don't think as much.
Said concussions is black and white. I mean, it's honest. Like, I mean, I've had a couple of concussions playing sports growing up, and you know, I've been knocked unconscious. You know, I've woken up and not realized where I was. I've had to stay up all night before, like, and it's been in playing different sports too. It's not just, you know, football or rugby, you know, the more physical contact sports. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's such a I don't think it's as easy as black and white as Taekwon said there, because it's different for everybody. Like I said, you don't know when you're going to have symptoms, when they're going to develop, what impacts you, how long they linger for. I think it was amplified to your point, Jay, though, that they played Thursday night and it happened Thursday night, 4 days later, right?
But because of that situation, like you're saying, it's different for everybody. Shouldn't you at least put them on maybe like a week-long protocol just in case? Just to watch?
But again, that goes back to the original question. If I'm passing everything and
why you
all my tests are clear. The team doctor cleared me. The independent neurologist cleared me. I have no lingering symptoms.
I'm good.
You don't have them that day, though. Doesn't mean you might not have them the next couple of days.
Somebody in the system should be smart enough to go back and check just to make sure. Run more tests.
And did they do that? We don't know if they did that or not. Like we have no idea if they did that or not going into the Thursday night game.
So they're all about, like, you know, this season and the preseason, they were using the special padding helmets. So they're saying that, you know, they're trying to be more conscious of this type of stuff. But then you're actually in it and you're just doing business as usual.
Yeah. I don't know. And, you know, and with CTE not being able to be, you know, recognized until after you pass away, like you never. don't know. We've seen it in pro wrestlers. We've seen it, boxers, NFL. Like it's out there in just about every single sport, with the potential to hit your head. So
I got a concussion from drinking. Shit happens.
I remember that.
It's a hard hitting sport, man.
I remember that.
That's right. Aaron Judge hit his 61st home run to tie Roger Maris, and the fan dropped the ball.
Literally.
How do you drop that ball?
That's why he's a fan and not a player.
Did somebody else pick it up?
No,
it went into the bullpen.
Good. The bullpen. You had the Powerball winning lottery ticket and just gone. I don't know if you do you ever bounce back from that? If you're that fan that dropped that ball, is that something that you like? Can you even bounce back from that, knowing that if you would have caught that ball, you would have had at least $1 million in your bank account?
People still talk about fans years later. So
if I'd have caught it, I'd have threw it back.
You're one of them fans.
And not as a hater.
You Henry Roland Gardner it.
I'd have threw it back because it's part of history.
Classy man.
Yeah, no need for me to profit off of it. It's part of history.
Yeah, up and up.
I'm cashing in, bro.
I would have right been on there on eBay.
Cashing in.
Right there on eBay. Boy.
Cashing in. So and then the debate again, which we talked about last week, who's the true home run king? What's the record? Is it, all that came into account,
Swinging Sammy Sosa.
God.
That's who
he has what, six games left to break it, right?
Throw all balls.
4 or 6 games, something
like that. Yeah.
What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to do something like that, like every time he comes up? Or are they going to
I'd do
see
it.
what happens?
I'd do it just to piss him off.
Yeah. We'll see.
They had that last week when they broke in on him during college football games, and people were pissed.
Oh, the Bartman game.
Yep, they still talk about that one.
That one's different because it wasn't Game 7 to go to the World Series. It was,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't get me started on that.
He was there. He's still on, man.
Yeah, it wasn't Game 7 to go to the World Series. So
is that dude still alive?
Yeah. He came out of hiding.
Chicago didn't take him down.
That was one of the better 30 for 30s that ESPN.
That was a good one.
Was the Bartman?
That was a good one.
Watch that one, yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's just sickening to think that you had $1 million plus ready to go and you butterfingered it and couldn't hold on to the ball, and now you don't get any payday. This is what it is. So, all right,
sitting there at home like story of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Story of my life. Yep. Some good college matchups this week as far as top 25 matchups head to head. NC State and Clemson play tonight. That's number 10 versus number 5. You have Baylor and Oklahoma State, which is number 9 versus 16. Florida State plays Wake, which isn't a ranked matchup, but that's a good game on the slate. So there's
they
some
said
good games today.
Yeah, they said that one was 23 versus 22.
Yeah, so that's on the 3:30.
That's about it.
Good college slate. Not like overly impressive this week, but there's definitely some games to watch. Tomorrow again, back to the usual. NFL being king. Steelers playing the Jets.
We'll back to the usual.
If the Steelers lose this game, this has to be a get right game. You got to come out and put points on the board, and you got to move the ball methodically down the field. The Jets defense stinks. So yeah, you got to come up. It's going to be nasty. It'll be raining. It'll be chilly, cold. So we'll see how Heinz Field turf holds up from the grass standpoint. But you got to get right there.
So if the Steelers lose, then it's let's go Pens Monday morning.
Well, yep, they're back at it. They regular season kicks off soon, doesn't it, Chris?
I think not this upcoming week, the following week. So
I heard their preseason hasn't been going good.
It hasn't been. I don't pay too much.
It's preseason though, you know.
Yeah, they don't always play everybody, just like football, you know. So
yeah.
Shout out to Latane, Crosby, and Malkin, the longest tenured trio in sports ever, coming into their 17th year together. So shout out to them.
So we'll get the typical with them. Start off slow, hot in the middle. When it gets to the end of the season, starts slowing down, and the playoff just shit the bed.
Honestly, that's what I'm expecting. It's the formula. You keep the formula, and that's all I'm expecting. So we'll see what this season brings.
Hopefully, if they do make it into the playoffs this year, which I think they should make it into the playoffs this year. I just
have consistently made the playoffs,
and that's all you want
out of the first round.
That's all you need.
I want them to be healthy for a 7-game series in the playoffs.
That would be nice.
Why does Mitch Trubisky look like he always has sun in his eyes?
No, because he looks lost. That's why.
Because he doesn't know how to read a defense. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he looks lost. It's every time it showed him on the sideline, like he looks dumbfounded. Like, what the hell's going on?
That's Mitch. That's what you get. Go Blue, Michigan. Hey, tough game in Iowa. Iowa always plays Michigan well in Iowa today, Dave. So I don't know. You may want to hold on to your seat for that one because that may be an upset brewing there. Although Iowa's offense is putrid, and I don't expect them to move the ball at all on Michigan's defense. But in Kinnick, you never know. There's been crazier upsets before in Kinnick Stadium. Look back at Iowa beating Ohio State there a couple years ago. So. Yeah, that's all I got sports-wise. Anybody got anything else? From a Bears fan, you're welcome.
You're batting 1,000, man. You just
you're a CM Punk fan, a Bears fan, and a Michigan fan. The best thing about you is that you like a team from Michigan. So, that's all that can be said about that. All right, I'm good with sports. Let's get into one guy. Go.
All right, last week coming off of video game movie franchises, the top 2 most voted were Tomb Raider and Resident Evil. What do we think?
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. So the fans agreed with you guys.
Dave, I seen your post, Dave. We might have to use that one.
Yep.
Yeah. There was some there's some clarification needed, even though we stated the clarifying aspect last week, but apparently it didn't come off as well as it should have. So he's also a Red Wings fan. Yeah, that Red Wings. Oh, geez, you're just no wonder why you need a couch session. You're a Bears fan and a Red Wings fan.
And probably deep dish pizza is the number 1 type of pizza.
Yeah. So this week's one got to go. I sent this over to Chris, and his reaction was priceless. So we're into October with Halloween and everything else and all that, but that's not the reason why I chose this particular topic. I feel like kids today, some of the shit that they do is because they weren't traumatized enough whenever they were younger. They didn't have like their hearts broken or seen stuff that really like impacted them and hit them to their core to where they, really understood the ramifications of things that could happen. So with that being said, Chris, if you want to throw it up. Most traumatizing death in an animated kids movie. All these happened with movies when we were kids. And what they do? Traumatize the hell out of us. Maybe not so much for option B there because that's a newer franchise. However, if you see this as a kid, you're a little traumatized. Start questioning things. Start looking at stuff differently. You have appreciation for life. Kids today don't have an appreciation for life. They just go out there and shoot each other up for no goddamn reason.
Wow.
Like we saw at Kennywood last week.
Damn.
So you want to nip that in the butt early? Sit them down, play one of these 4 movies, and let them be traumatized, and maybe they'll appreciate life a little bit better instead of running out there and just picking up a gun and shooting each other on the weekend. My rant's over. Let's get into the
real.
list.
Yeah, it did. I don't even want to pick this now.
Playing a fun game. And
Littlefoot Mothers stayed. I think that was the first one. Didn't cry, but it was sad. Mufasa definitely bawled my eyes out. I think that's the first time I actually realized. Bambi's mom I never seen.
So you never seen Bambi, or you just didn't pay attention to that part of the movie?
I probably didn't pay attention. I probably never even seen Bambi. What year was that? 72? That's old as shit.
72. Earlier.
Bambi was a lot earlier than that.
Yeah. But I mean, I seen how I Train Your Dragon too late in life, so that didn't affect me much. So B got to go.
Okay.
I might have put Beta or
Quan
for emojis in here.
We'll get that. We'll get to that. 3 of these, I've seen. One of them I haven't. I'm sure you can probably guess which one. Yeah. Bambi's mom dying. That was the OG. That's the original cartoon that just got you. Mufasa, that's not going anywhere, and that's the one that I said to Steve. Like, surprise, surprise, you bring Mufasa back on the list. And Littlefoot's mother, all that. I've never seen any of the How to Train Your Dragons, so just
good.
Great
for that.
Great franchise.
I'm taking
great franchise of movies.
Yeah, just for that reason, all other 3, definitely hit me. So B can go.
A and C are staying, and I'm sorry, but what is it, Stocky? It's been so long since it's been so long since I watched that with the kids, but yeah, that had some feels in it too. Mufasa, man, who cares about Mufasa? I was scoring all the way.
He's gonna be that guy.
All the way. Score all the way.
He's gonna be that guy.
Scar all the way.
You know, you hate me guy.
Scar all the way. Yeah.
We literally have Uncle Scar on this show.
Mr. Sidwell, you hate email.
Scar all the way. Yep, my claws were in his hands and I threw him off the cliff. Yes.
What?
Yeah, we've also got to go.
So do you.
Yo, Mufasa is one of the most memorable.
It was memorable. It was memorable.
Up the whole rest of the movie, the redemption, the comeback, like claiming your place. I can't believe you just did that to Mufasa. That's unbelievable.
Mufasa to me is like Optimus Prime, not needed.
Wow.
What?
They're coming out with a Mufasa movie.
How is he
coming out with a prequel?
Not needed. He's not needed.
He was born
in the entire movie.
That's
the whole premise of the movie.
It's good. What's the premise of the movie?
Yeah, but I hate her.
That's cool.
Did everybody
do a good job of it? But damn it, I liked it.
Did you pick Steve?
No, I'm going to right now. Mufasa and Stoic for me are not going anywhere.
Now Mufasa can stay.
Yes. Mufasa, they're not going off this list. Again, those 2 hit a little closer to home for me because I lost my dad whenever I was 9. So those, because they're dads, they hit a little closer to me. Stoic, damn, they're set up. He was around the entire first movie. The relationship between him and Hiccup, there's just so many things that go into it. And then as you're watching that scene and you see Hiccup realize that his father is actually dead and how that hits it, it's gripping. It's gripping drama. Mufasa, yeah, like I said, that's not going anywhere. Bambi's mom versus Littlefoot's mother. So I will never forget watching Land Before Time with my sister and her bawling her eyes out when Littlefoot's mother died. Just won't forget it. Some images burned into my head. Did
you have the little Land Before Time puppet from Pizza Hut too while you were watching the movie?
Oh, absolutely. Tremendous. They need to start bringing those types of toys back. We talked about the lunch pails with McDonald's for Halloween. They need to start bringing that stuff back. So because of that image, and I felt Littlefoot's mother dying more in Land Before Time than Bambi's mom, I'll get rid of Bambi's mom in Bambi.
Okay.
Who was your first TV death?
TV.
Just movie TV.
That I remember?
Yeah.
Littlefoot's mom.
Littlefoot?
Yeah, that I remember. Like the
I'll
first
go,
one that I remember. Yeah.
It was either Apollo Creed or Radio Raheem.
I can't answer because I watched horror movies when I was a kid, so that was like 3/4 of the cast.
You're not relatable. You can't relate to those characters.
Like 3/4 of the cast.
They just showed up and died. You didn't get a story behind them. You get a background.
And that's exactly why he got rid of Mufasa. This is
He was a quarter of the movie. Not needed.
It was either Mufasa or Land Before Time. But I'm probably going to go Land Before Time because that came out before. So,
yeah. And again, I went with animated because there were other options for non-animated kids movies where deaths. And we just had the Never Ending Story talk a couple of weeks ago, so you could have put a trail on there.
I'll tell you, the one TV death that got me, that it's one of those episodes that I still have a hard time watching is real. A real death was the episode 8 Simple Rules when John Ritter died. It's just.
Well, that's because he passed away in real life. So
yeah,
that made it hit more like, when that happens, it makes it a little bit harder to bear because you realize that person, not just the character, is no longer around.
All right, so we got some comments on.
Oh yeah, we got some comments.
Bambi
they
can
said
go.
Bambi can go.
He's young.
It says Bambi's mom is just hilarious at this point.
I need ages with these quotes. I need ages with these comments.
I agree with you, Steve, that you gave the whole movie to connect with How to Train the Dragon.
Yeah, and I mean, there's father-son relationship dynamic. There's a whole
look
thing that goes into
either
that.
Either Taquan has kids or he's young.
Yeah, basically.
Let's stick with the
basically man up.
Stick through with the movie. Nah.
This is great here. I felt more bad about that than the Mufasa died.
I agree with Dave on this. I wonder if kids even watch Bambi these days.
No, kids don't watch none of these. They got traumatize your kids. They'll have a greater appreciation for life.
Cartoon animated movies. It's rough.
I mean, it's on Disney Plus, I'm sure. So I mean, something they could watch, but I don't know if they go back and watch the old stuff.
They need the CGI deaths.
Okay, Dave, with the Walking Dead references.
All right, that's this week's One Gotta Go. Hit us up on social media. Let us know which one gotta go. And with that being said, let's get into final thoughts.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 105 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Make sure that you go on all our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, at Dumb Marks Pod. Like, subscribe, follow us, especially over on our YouTube channel. Head over there and subscribe, get notifications when we go live each week. Our podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. For all the links and more, visit dumbmarkspod.com and head over to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod. Support the merch so we can actually get some excitement for the show. Get those confetti cannons for next year's birthday celebration. Do you guys have anything before we wrap things up today?
It was announced last night on SmackDown, the passing of WWE Hall of Famer and New Japan Pro Wrestling founder Antonio Inoki had passed away.
Had a few deaths this week.
Yeah, when you talk about importance in pro wrestling as a whole, not just like American-based pro wrestling, but pro wrestling as a whole, Inoki is on the Mount Rushmore of importance to pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
American
fans might not understand, but
right. Yeah, I mean, him with Muhammad Ali was like must-see, sell-out stuff back in the day before that. That was before the WrestleMania one with Mr. T, and you know what I mean. Like it transcended it transcended everything, honestly. Like sport as a whole, it was pro wrestler versus professional boxer, and who was going to win, and the showmanship between the two, and just everything he did for pro wrestling, but also what he did as a politician and as a human being, and the lives he's impacted. Rest in peace to a true trailblazer in so many ways. Like you said, Chris, that may not get the respect and the reverence that he deserves because it's not an American-based figurehead.
I remember whenever he went in the WWE Hall of Fame a few years ago, people just didn't get it. And it's like, that's the nice thing, at least with WWE, whenever they do these video packages and stuff. And hopefully they do one this week for him to showcase, because he deserves it.
Yeah, and it came across real time, live on air. So, that was a little rushed, a little difficult. Glad to see that they were able to get a graphic up for it. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely something that needs a much brighter light shined upon it, given everything that he meant to the pro wrestling world and culture as a whole, especially in Japan.
Yeah.
An unofficial WWE champion too. Back in the day, you had some of those title changes that never became official just because of where they happened and the way they happened. But
right, a couple other quick hitters for me. Tonight over in London, the IWGP Tag Team Championship match, FTR versus Aussie Open, taking place at Crystal Palace Indoor Arena. That's going to be a banger of a match. So just we'll further solidify FTR as being Tag Team of the Year from that standpoint. And then the last quick hitter that I have for all you Cobra Kai fans out there, there is officially Cobra Kai Special Coffee is now available. So it is a light roast, and it's brought to you by Hero, which stands for Help Everyone Remain Operational.
A light roast? I thought there was no mercy in Cobra Kai.
For kids?
Hey. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to order a bag of this just to have a bag of Cobra Kai coffee. So, and Kenny,
you gonna drink
Kenny,
it?
if you're still, yeah, I'm going to drink it for sure. Kenny, if you're still on, we'll set something up this week. So figure out what your schedule is. This guy. Hey. That'd be the. I can't even put that comment up.
Yeah,
man. Unbelievable. You hit us with one of these once a week where we just pause and can't get through where we're at in the show because of this comment. But yeah, I'm gonna purchase it just because I'm a Cobra Kai mark. So we'll see there. All right. Anybody got anything else?
We can't top that.
No.
This is very true. Let's see here. Where do I want to go with quote of the week this week? Let's see here. Let's hit you with a little.
Give you some positivity.
We'll do a little positivity here. People do not decide their futures; they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. People do not decide their futures; they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. May your habits lead you to a future filled with prosperity, wealth, health, etc., etc., etc. Thanks for tuning in this week. And with that being said, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, Telemark. And until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.